Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to our April 29th, 2025, 2 o'clock Commissioner Consent Agenda. Let the record reflect that all 5 commissioners are present. I am going to ask my fellow commissioners if we're okay, due to time constraints for the judges that are here and the county clerk, to move item 3D up after the Pledge of Allegiance. Do we have consensus?
Yes.
Okay, having consensus on that, we will do that, and then we will continue with the rest of our agenda. So if everyone would like to stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. With that, then, I will look to, who is reading? Okay, Commissioner Jordan, if you would like to read item 3D.
3D. Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a proclamation I'll read in the form of a motion in the matter of proclaiming May 2025 as Therapeutic Court Month in Spokane County, Washington. Whereas therapeutic courts improve both public health and public safety using evidence-based practices to support individuals and families affected by substance use and other behavioral health conditions in making long-term changes that create safer, healthier communities within Spokane County, benefiting all residents. And whereas the Washington State Department of Social and Health Services found that cost savings due to crime reductions created a return of $4 for every tax dollar invested in a Washington State drug court, and analyses of mental health courts and family treatment courts in Washington State have shown benefits from reduced recidivism, lower rates of hospitalization, fewer emergency department visits, less involvement in the child welfare system, and fewer children born drug affected. And whereas therapeutic court participants and alumni in Spokane County create positive ripple effects in their communities, inspiring hope and giving back as productive employees, present parents, good neighbors, dedicated mentors, and effective role models for others in recovery. And whereas therapeutic courts in Spokane County provide treatment, case management, peer support, judicial oversight, comprehensive resources, structure, expectations, and accountability that address root causes of criminal behavior, child abuse and neglect, and support long-term recovery. And whereas Spokane County has been a leader in therapeutic court innovation, operating specialty courts including Felony Therapeutic Drug Court, established as one of the first drug courts nearly 30 years ago, Co-occurring Disorders Court, Felony Mental Health Court, Spokane Regional Mental Health Court, Veterans Enhanced Regional Treatment Court, and DUI Therapeutic Court, providing meaningful pathways out of the legal system and toward recovery and family reunification. Now, therefore, we, the Board of County Commissioners of Spokane County, Washington, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Therapeutic Court Month in Spokane County.
I will second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those?
Oh,
no,
sorry.
we'll let them come up after we see no further discussion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously, and I'd like to ask presiding Superior Court Judge Shelley Zamblin and District Court presiding Judge Jeff Smith and County Clerk Tim Fitzgerald to please come up if you'd like to say a few words.
Thank you. I will be brief because I couldn't say it better than what the proclamation did. But on behalf of Spokane Superior Court and our therapeutic team, they're in the audience, I saw them somewhere. I'd like to thank the Board of County Commissioners for acknowledging the importance of therapeutic courts and with this proclamation. As noted earlier, Spokane was a leader decades ago when it recognized the potential value of drug court by establishing the second one in Washington State. We were a leader. Like other therapeutic courts, it has proven its value, helping people to improve their lives in our community as a result. We had a mental health court graduation this morning, and one of our graduates was proud that he broke a generational chain of substance abuse in his family, and he's now a devoted father that is a ripple effect where the value that therapeutic courts provide, it's intangible and it's hard to quantify, but it's so important. Therapeutic courts work, they make financial sense, and make our communities safer with significantly reduced recidivism. And I want to thank you again.
Thank you.
Judge Zamlin, thank you. A lot of what you said, District Court echoes. I also want to thank the board for this proclamation. It means a lot. I have presided over our Veterans Court for 3 years, and then I most recently have taken over our and presided over our DUI court and our mental health court. I was the request to try to go a little earlier in the agenda because I'm actually took a recess. I'm right in the middle of my therapeutic court, the mental health court docket, and so I really appreciate you letting us go a little earlier in the agenda so that we could have a few words to say and thank you all for the proclamation. What I wanted just to do real quick, last Thursday we had a graduation. By the way, the community and the board, we welcome anytime you want to come sit in on one of our graduations. They're pretty profound and pretty significant. And I thought one of the best ways to share about how valuable our therapeutic courts are is to actually read to you what one of our graduates said last Thursday. This particular gentleman came into our court about 2 years ago. At the time he came into our court, he was homeless. He had just recently been diagnosed with cancer, 2 different kinds of cancer. He was in really tough shape. He was somebody who had been extremely successful in life, and life threw some curveballs at him, and he had a rough go. And he came into our court with several DUIs and had a few bumps along the way, but ultimately graduated after a little over 2 years. He's had about 450 days of sobriety, and this is what he said in his graduation, and I think it just encapsulates what our therapeutic courts are all about. He said, "My journey before and during my time in DUI court was not the most pleasant of my life. I've endured many struggles, some of which the court is aware. I do, however, recall the words of the French philosopher Voltaire, who said, 'Life is thickly sown with thorns, and I know no other remedy than to pass quickly through them. The longer we dwell on our misfortunes, the greater is their power to harm us.' Most importantly, I learned that no matter how much the DUI court's team and members were there to encourage and support me, real change was up to me. The court has provided me with some invaluable tools. DUI court provided the structure and required the accountability for me to find the person I was before tragedy and alcohol abuse struck. I entered DUI court adrift on troublesome waters with emotional abandonment and amid near physical collapse. Meaninglessness and loneliness entwined with a deep, unshakable anxiety about a world spiraling out of control laid bare my soul's struggles. This is the weight of the crisis that gripped me, a yearning for meaning and connection in a fractured and unmoored world. I'm leaving DUI court knowing the strength of my anchors, having been in the deepest, darkest areas of my life, but where I could most clearly see the light that pointed me to the way out of my predicament. The Roman orator Cicero said, 'A thankful heart is not only the greatest virtue, but the parent of all other virtues.' I'm truly thankful for my experience in DUI court." I think those words really capture the transformation that occurred in this person's life. He left our court employed, he left our court housed, he left our court sober, and with the tools to live a really productive life. And so that's the kind of thing, that's the kind of impact that our therapeutic courts make in our community. And again, I really appreciate the board's recognition of the power of our therapeutic courts in our community, and thank you again for the proclamation.
Thank you, and Judge, we do want to take a picture, but I want to give County Clerk Tim Fitzgerald a chance to speak, and then we'll have you come up and we'll take a picture together and get you out of here.
Well, again, thank you very much for everything you do for our courts. When they're resourced and staffed correctly, as you heard both judges say, they're phenomenally effective. Data is a key point to track these courts. So the Spokane Veterans Forum, where we send all our veteran defendants to, the national recidivism rate is 72 to 75% in criminal courts. Your Spokane Veterans Court and Forum is 5.7. That's how effective these programs are, because we have the wraparound services and we get these folks for 24 to 36 months to make a difference. We've had 67 veterans read a letter publicly. That's one of the court orders that they have to do at the end of their time in the program. read a letter publicly that they would have committed suicide if not for this program. 67 lives saved. Thank you for all you do for our courts. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. So then we'll have you guys come up. We'll hand you the proclamation and take a photo. Okay, then this will get us back to our agenda. I do want to state that there was no written testimony provided for items on today's agenda. We do have now, for open public forum, we have 7 people that have signed up. I have checked with my fellow commissioners. We are going to go with 2 minutes per person today. And so I'm going to start with Craig Bollising.
Good afternoon, everybody. Craig Vollising, West Plains and Palisades neighborhood. And so today I just want to follow up on what I said last week when I was calling for a robust engagement on the matter of aquifer protection for the West Plains and a district for that effect. And so please understand, in the context, like you heard it last week, that very often those like myself don't have the benefit of knowing what is going on inside the inner workings of county government. We don't know about staff studies of Aquifer Protection District for the West Plains. We don't hear much. And so what I'm speaking about today is hopeful more of some two-way communication, because it puts people like me often in the business of coming down here with a prepared remarks based on an assumption that we don't see much happening when maybe sometimes there really is. It's kind of embarrassing because suddenly you can step up here and suddenly realize maybe your comments maybe are not up to the minute or up to date. And basically what we're left with is you have a constituent, at least on the West Plains, that is very, I would say, I don't have prepared remarks today, sorry about that. I'm speaking off the cuff. But basically, we're in a wait and see mode, and mostly it's wait. We don't get much communication at all. And we realize with 5 districts, we really need to look to the one who represents our district for that kind of communication. And we aren't getting it. And so we ask, please help keep us informed so our input is more up to date. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next I have John Hancock.
I'm John Hancock. I live on the West Plains on Deep Creek. It's time to deliver on the trust you ask of us every 4 years at the ballot box. Please be trustworthy and help continuously, not just at that stage of campaign promises. Our private wells have a contamination that can't be fixed using just the perspectives of people who live in town, following the rule books that exclude protection of our water. So far with you, this 3-minute forum, or 2 minutes, on Tuesdays is all we're getting. And you do it by law, not because you welcome us to conversation. We don't feel much group follow-up response to what we say on behalf of thousands of others. That's the trouble. And a forum like the task force is a solution. Al prefers to make his own plans in private, and he doesn't listen well. That's not representative government in my view. The 5-person commission now allows your offline work together. I don't see that in play here yet. You're still competing, not collaborating. That's wrong, and it doesn't work. We're expecting well-intentioned governance, and now is the time. Politics won't get the job done. The previous airport corporate behavior, in which lobbyists and lawyers defended economic expansions, added years of delay to what we say was an urgent public health rescue. Let's work together now towards solutions, but that requires new methods. That's what we're still waiting for and what we ask every time we're here. If Al's pipeline project helps us, we'll support it. If it's actually just a fresh big drink for industrial expansion, maybe not. If filter funding happens, count on us to help design it. If aquifer protection has practical benefits for us, we'll endorse the plan. I welcome SRHD into all this work because PFAS is a health issue. Al told me that your declaration of a public health emergency would help. Propose it, please, and we'll endorse. Al was mistaken last week when he said we weren't talking to the city. How would he know? Because he said he was tired of my questions. Let's work through these details together.
Thank you. Next I have Jason Heiner.
Members of the Board of Commissioners. My name is Jason Heiner, and we're trying to read a covenant for the unincorporated Spokane County Assembly. We have 7 members here of the Spokane County Assembly to read the covenant, and I'll begin. The Spokane County Assembly Notice of Covenant and Resettlement and Reclamation. Notice to agents is notice to principals. Notice to principals is notice to agents. Preamble. Whereas we, the people of the Spokane County Assembly, living on the land known as Spokane County, hereinafter county, within the geographic borders of the free and independent Washington state, being Washingtonians by birth or choice, hereby proclaim that we have returned to settle the land of this county and reclaim our rightful Republican form of government. Whereas we claim our right to live together with our fellow living men and women in peace, to defend our unalienable rights to life, liberty, privacy, property, and the pursuit of happiness, to administer the resources of this county for the benefit of all Washingtonians, and to make certain agreements with other Washingtonians. Whereas we repudiate and rescind the fraudulent incorporation and cruel conveyance of living men and women into the sea, maritime jurisdiction without their knowledge nor consent, and invoke the absolute writ of habeas corpus to return them to their rightful standing upon the land as living men and women. Whereas we proclaim this fundamental maxim of law, the Creator is always greater than the creation. No living man or woman is subject to the rule of any entity created by mankind without their full knowledge and explicit consent. Whereas we, by right and by duty, no longer consent to be ruled by private corporations and their unknown owners who act as government under the color of law, and who for generations have usurped our powers and trespassed against our rights for their own profit. And whereas we recognize the many honorable and capable men and women, our neighbors, who serve today in these corporations, and we extend our hand in friendship and partnership to pursue an orderly transition to the rightful Republican form of government for us all.
Thank you.
Continue to, okay.
Yes, if you have others, and then just so that everyone knows, we do have a copy, all of us have a copy of that as well. So I don't know if you have a certain order you want to go, otherwise I'll just call up who I have. Okay, J.C. Jones, unless
I'm J.C. Jones. I live, born and raised in Spokane and continue to live in Spokane. Therefore, we in peaceful and lawful assembly serve notice of this covenant of resettlement and reclamation for the benefit in perpetuity of all people on this county. This is Article 1, Principles of Observance, of Governance. We hereby acknowledge, adopt, and integrate by reference herein the enlightened and prudent principles of lawful governance as were written in the Magna Carta, June 15th, 1215, the Declaration of Independence, July 4th, 1776, the Articles of Confederation ratified November 15th, 1777, and in force March 1st, 1781, the Constitution for the United States of America, 1789, the Bill of Rights, 1776 to 1791, through the original Article of Amendment 8, ratified March 12th, 1819, and excluding all amendments thereafter, and the Washington State Constitution Preamble and Article 1, ratified October 1st, 1889, and as amended as of November 8th, 2021, excluding Article 1, Section 16 and 26, and all other articles and sections, and interpreting citizen or person, however used or capitalized, to refer to a living man or woman, one among the people in all cases. We extend greetings to our brothers and sisters on all other counties within the state and other states and territories of America, and will rejoice when we can again assemble as one. Article 2, Forms of Law. American common law, based on the universal principle of do no harm, governs the interactions among living men and women in unincorporated entities on the land and territorial waterways of this county. The Admiralty maritime laws of the seas, the merchant marine laws, the estate and trust laws, and the military laws, and all the pursuant statutes, codes, regulations, and similar rules which govern their separate jurisdictions shall now and henceforth never govern living men and women in our county, except with his or her full knowledge and explicit consent. Article 3, Forms of Assembly. Section 1, this covenant recognizes the inherent and unalienable right of all living men and women.
Thank you. And next I have Jesse Stone.
My name is Jesse Stone. I live in Spokane County, and I will continue reading. Okay, so, oh, sorry. Pardon? Yeah, he read it all? No, it was, okay, here and after, popular assembly or the Committee of Safety for the equal benefit of all people of the county. Section 2, this covenant establishes the Spokane County Assembly, hereinafter assembly, to conduct lawful business on behalf and administer lawful justice for the benefit of the people of this county. Section 3, members of the assembly shall be called assemblymen or assemblywomen when conducting general business, shall be called jurists when serving on a common law grand petite jury or associated function, and shall be called electors when eligible to vote on a matter. Section 4, the minimum criteria and process for membership in the assembly and the rules and procedures for the assembly shall be determined by laws ratified by supermajority hereinafter in all cases, meaning at least 2/3 of electors vote prior to the settlement date as defined below, provided that, however, a minimum of 3 such electors cast a vote. Section 5, all elections and votes governed by such bylaws shall require a supermajority vote or electors to elect an officer to any position within an assembly or to approve any matter beyond voted upon by assembly. Section 6, all assemblies established under this covenant shall be unincorporated. Article 4, grand juries. Section 1, grand and petite juries are available to any living man, woman, boy, or girl who is harmed within the geographic borders of the county. Section 2, all functions of the assembly will be keeping with the proud transition of American common law and will protect the unalienable rights of all people equally and all circumstances.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, I have Dream.
Good afternoon. My name is Dream, and I live in Spokane County. I was here today to voice opposition to and encourage you to vote against the proposed $31,000 raise for the Spokane County Sheriff and the $400,000 contract with a non-local tech company to maintain and analyze police body cam footage. However, when I got here, I was informed that though I might be able to speak at open forum, if I wanted to speak on any agenda items, I needed to have informed the board by yesterday at 1 p.m. This is frustrating, unnecessary, and undemocratic. These are supposed to be the people's chambers. So instead, I'll talk about the general trend of dumping taxpayer money unnecessarily into policing. Y'all seem to be looking for ways to spend money. I've got some ideas. We could expand the county's low-stress bike network. We could fund much-needed youth mental health treatment. We could set up some safer use sites to cut down on public drug consumption. We could devote more money to clean water in the West Plains. We could build public housing to help remedy our housing crisis. We could give the money to STA to help them move our region better. We could help the city of Spokane with their budget shortfall because the fates of the city and the county are tied together. There are plenty of effective bang-for-buck ways to help address the issues facing the people of Spokane County. Dumping more taxpayer money into police isn't one of them. Thank you.
Thank you. And next I have Russ Albertson, and I apologize that I didn't realize we were out of order on that, so.
Hi there, Russ Albertson. I live in North Spokane. Continuing on section 2, the geographic borders of the county shall be described by meters and bounds at the earliest practical opportunity. Section 3, we declare that we own the land and the resources of the county, the water and mineral rights under the land to the center of the earth, the water, vegetation, living creatures, materials, and structures on the land, and the air above and the land to the outermost edge of the universe. This ownership excludes, in each case, the land and resources owned directly or indirectly by living men and women as the date this covenant is ratified. Section 4, we further claim the credit in any and all accounts and trusts designed for Spokane County, including any hidden accounts and trusts, including the credit within the accounts and the trust of the state of Washington and the U.S. federal government that is designed for Spokane County. All the properly audited, maintained, and used for the people of Spokane County directly by the Spokane County Assembly. Section 5, insofar as living men and women have domination over the land, air, water, and space, and all resources herein and thereon. They are stewards of that over which they have dominion for the benefit of future living men and women. Resettlement and reclamation, section 1. This covenant recognizes all the counties within the state extent as of October 1st, 2024, collectively or any subset of which numbering more than one hereinto counties. Section 2, the resettlement and reclamation process, hereafter the process, for each county shall be derived from the original and lawful Michigan Assembly process as confirmed by the Ohio Assembly circa October 1st, 2021.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes our open public forum. And with that, I don't know if Commissioner French would like to announce the grant that the state.
Yep. Thank you, Madam Chair. We did hear yesterday that the state legislature has awarded, will be awarding to Spokane County $7.495, I round up to $7.5 million to provide water filtration for residents in the West Plains. It's not as much as we requested, but it's more than we have now. And so we will be working with the state to prepare the contract, and then also be working with Department of Ecology and Department of Health to try and implement and get some point of entry treatment facilities out to residents on the West Plains and stuff. So I want to thank our legislators, and particularly Representative Volz, Representative Graham, and Senator Holy that represent the West Plains, as well as the leadership of Senator Riccelli and others to provide this funding for the residents in the West Plains that desperately need access to clean water. So thank you, Madam Chair, for the opportunity to announce that.
Yes. Okay, that's going to take us to item number 3A on today's agenda, and I believe Commissioner French, you were going to read this proclamation.
All right, so this is the matter of proclaiming April 30th, 2025 as National Therapy Animal Day in Spokane County. Whereas there are thousands of therapy animal teams serving communities across the United States, and whereas Pet Partners, an organization striving to improve human health and well-being through the human-animal bond, has designated April 30th as National Therapy Animal Day. And whereas therapy teams in Spokane County play an essential role in improving human health and well-being through the animal-human bond, and whereas therapy animal teams make millions of visits per year in settings such as hospitals, nursing homes, schools, and hospice facilities. And whereas therapy animal teams interact with a variety of people, including veterans, seniors, patients, students facing literacy challenges, and those approaching end of life. And whereas these exceptional therapy animals who partner with their human companions bring comfort and healing to those in need. Now, therefore, the Board of County Commissioners of Spokane County, Washington, on behalf of the citizens of Spokane County, do hereby proclaim April 30, 2025 as National Therapy Animal Day in Spokane County to celebrate therapy animals and their human handlers. Furthermore, Spokane County publicly salutes the service of therapy animal teams in our community and communities across the nation. Thank you.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I do believe we have Carrie Delahante in the audience. If you'd like to come up and say something, and then we would like to come down and present you with a proclamation and take a picture.
Good afternoon, council members. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak today as we recognize National Pet Therapy Day. This is Sunshine. We're a pet therapy team through Pet Partners. We worked for about a year and a half for certification. I'm 6 weeks away from becoming a licensed marriage and family therapist, so I'm very excited to fold her into my practice. But today we honor the quiet but extraordinary kind of healing, the healing that walks into hospital rooms, classrooms, counseling centers, and community spaces on 4 paws. In her case, it's 3 paws. She is a tripod. Wagging their tails and offering a gentle nuzzle, therapy animals, and especially therapy dogs, carry a unique power, the ability to comfort without words, to calm without judgment, and to connect without barriers. Research has shown what many of us have experienced firsthand, that the presence of a therapy dog can lower blood pressure, ease anxiety, reduce loneliness, and lift spirits. Yet beyond the science lies something even more profound. The simple sacred moment when a child breathes more slowly, when an elderly hand reaches out for comfort, sunshine, when a heart heavy with grief softens, or even if for a moment there is some comfort. Therapy animals are not merely companions, they are healers, ambassadors of unconditional love, and bridges between suffering and hope. Their steady presence reminds us that healing often begins not with words, but with connection, with being seen and accepted and loved exactly as we are. In declaring National Pet Therapy Day in Spokane, we honor the animals and their dedicated handlers who volunteer their time, energy, and compassion. We recognize their vital role in strengthening the emotional and mental health of our community. And we affirm the commitment to supporting programs that bring this kind of healing to all that need it. Thank you for your time, your leadership, and your shared belief in the healing power of compassion.
Thank you, and we'd like you to come up and take a picture. Okay, then that is going to take us to item 3B. Commissioner Kearns.
All right, Madam Chair, I would like to read this proclamation in the form of a motion. It's in the matter of proclaiming May 4th through 10th, 2025 as National Correctional Officers and Employees Week in Spokane County, Washington. Whereas correctional employees in Spokane County form a core element of the public safety team in this community. Our correctional employees in detention services provide supervision, treatment services, reentry guidance, and emotional support for more than 32,000 individual cases annually, while also promoting positive behavior, constructive attitudes, and life skills within the inmate population to reduce recidivism and facilitate successful reintegration into the community. And whereas in Spokane County, our correctional employees are trained law enforcement professionals who engage in dangerous and potentially life-threatening situations every day. And whereas members of the Spokane County community should recognize the increasingly complex, dangerous, and challenging responsibilities carried out by every correctional employee in detention services. Each correctional employee accepts enormous personal and professional responsibility. And whereas National Correctional Officers and Employees Week acknowledges the work of our correctional officers and employees who serve this honorable profession nobly and admirably. Now, therefore, we, the Board of County Commissioners of Spokane County, Washington, do hereby proclaim May 4th through 10th, 2025 as National Correctional Officer and Employees Week. We encourage all our citizens to join in recognizing the employees of detention services for their role in safeguarding the citizens of Spokane County by providing safe, secure, and humane incarceration and reentry services to individuals within their custody, dated this day, the 29th of April, 2025, signed Board of County Commissioners.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
Could I make a brief comment,
Yes,
Madam Chair? I just
further
wanted to
discussion, yes.
thank the team in our detention services department for the great work. I had a chance, as I know board members have done before, to go to the night where they kind of give out awards on behalf of the chief and recognize some of the good work that has been done. And I think in the words of our chief of detention, he had pages and pages of description of life-saving incidents where officers were being awarded for intervening in some pretty dark circumstances with inmates in our facilities. And so just wanted to recognize that and say to those folks, it's really impressive work.
Yeah, And I will just say that I was there as well, and we had competing events at the county that night, so not all of us could be there, but a couple of us were able to make that. And it truly is amazing what your team is doing and the support that is required by the family and spouses of your corrections officers. So I just want to give a shout out to them as well for all that they do to support the detention services employees. So with that, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. I would like to have Chief Hooper come up.
Thank you again. We've been up here a few years, but thank you for being there last week at our award ceremony. They're backed up to each other, and we made the mistake of overscheduling along with the County Employee Appreciation Night. But thank you. We had a lot of attendance, and to the commissioners, thank you for being there, Mr. Simmons being there. And I think one carries over into the other is just you see the impact on our staff members, the number of staff assaults, the number of critical incidents they deal with, and the number of lives they save. You know, when it doesn't turn out, when we don't have a great outcome, we hear about it in the paper, but all the incidents that we deal with day after day. I think we dealt with over 300 suicide attempts last year, restraint chair multiple times, about every day and a half. 15 staff assaults were last year, 25 the year before. So thank you for all the support you've shown. And I think I said it last week, and I'll say it again. I've been with the county for 27 years, and this board, this 5, have shown us more support and more compassion and been there for us, for me, more than any other board. I mean that, and I absolutely mean that from the bottom of my heart. So thank you for our staff, because I know you mean it. So I got off my list as usual. So I'm here along with Lieutenant Darren Lehman, Lieutenant Aaron Anderton, and Lieutenant Jason Robinson, 3 of our 4 lieutenants with detention services. So, and just thank you for supporting the first full week in May as National Corrections Officer and Employee Week. Every week, every year during the first week in May, we celebrate by bringing food, prizes to the staff and thanking them for the unseen and often forgotten and selfless work they perform every day. The funds for our annual celebration are donated by staff in the form of monthly deductions for our Employee Appreciation Fund, as well as the Corrections Sergeants Union, the Officers Union, Canopy Credit Union, and other community supporters. All the money, none of the money is county funds. It all comes from the community. So this year we'll have pizza, pop, cookies, that kind of thing all week long. We'll feed everybody really well. We have $2,500 in gift cards given out to staff that week. I think about 1 out of every 3 people will get something that week along with food. So, and just again, I just want to say thank you for all the support you've shown us. So, thank you.
Thank you. If you and the lieutenants would like to come up for a photo, and we'll get you the proclamation. Okay, I think this is like National Proclamation Day for us. We have one more. There's certain times a year that the proclamations kind of stack up just because of the timing of when events are. So the next item is 3C, and so I'm going to look to Commissioner Waldrop.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll read this proclamation in the form of a motion. in the matter of proclaiming May 2025 as Behavioral Health Awareness Month in Spokane County. Whereas Spokane County recognizes the importance of the behavioral health needs of individuals and families to the overall well-being of our community. And whereas according to the National Institute of Mental Health, more than 1 in 5 American adults and 1 in 4 adolescents experience a diagnosed mental or behavioral health disorder. And whereas in 2022, more than 18% of Spokane County residents reported experiencing 14 or more days of poor mental health in a 30-day period, reinforcing the importance of accessible resources, early intervention, and community support to promote overall well-being. And whereas Spokane County recognizes the tireless dedication of behavioral health professionals, crisis responders, and peer support specialists who provide essential care and services to individuals and families experiencing behavioral health challenges. And whereas Spokane County has a continued commitment to expanding and strengthening behavioral health treatment services, advocating for sustainable funding, and working with regional and state partners to address the behavioral health needs of our communities. So now, therefore, we, the Spokane County Board of Commissioners, on behalf of the citizens of Spokane County, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Behavioral Health Awareness Month and call upon all residents to foster an environment of support, inclusion, and access to care for all individuals affected by behavioral health conditions.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. I would like to ask our Community Services Director, Justin Johnson, to come up. And I don't know if you have others that you want to come up with you. Looks like you have a crew with you, so very exciting.
Afternoon, Commissioners, Madam Chair. I just want to express our gratitude for the board in recognizing such an important aspect to our community and to the wellness of the citizens. But you guys get the pleasure of listening to me quite a bit, so I'm going to turn it over to those that are actually working directly and serving our community, both with our ASO, National Alliance for Mental Illness, NAMI, as well as our Behavioral Health Advisory Board. So without further ado.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. I just want to sincerely thank you for shining a light on behavioral health and raising awareness for that through this meaningful proclamation. And not only that, but all the support that you guys provide us and our department in expanding access to behavioral health care and strengthening that within our communities during such a critical time. I also want to recognize and truly thank our behavioral health providers that contract with and partner with Spokane County to provide those essential services in our community to individuals and families navigating challenges with behavioral health care. And I'm honored to also introduce Chantal Lesky, Director of NAMI Spokane, and Kim Taylor, Chair of our Behavioral Health Advisory Board, to say a few words as well.
Good afternoon. I'm Chantal Lisky. I'm the Executive Director with NAMI Spokane. At NAMI, we walk alongside those living with mental health conditions and their loved ones, offering support, education, and advocacy. I want to thank the County Commissioners for recognizing May as Behavioral Health Awareness Month. Too often, stigma keeps people from reaching out for help. But by coming together today, we send a clear message to our community. You are seen, you are heard, and you are not alone. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. As stated, I'm Kim Taylor. I'm the chair of the Spokane County Behavioral Health Advisory Board, so thank you for your time today. Mental illness and substance use disorders impact all of us, every single one of us, directly and indirectly, every single day. With that, it's in the interest of each of us to take actions. That is to ask very serious questions, to be open and honest in conversations, to educate ourselves and others, to raise awareness, and to reduce stigma about behavioral health concerns. I want to thank the Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Spokane County Advisory Board, Behavioral Health Advisory Board, for your acknowledgement of this day and your continued support of behavioral health interventions in this community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I'd ask you all to come forward and we will take a photo. Okay, I will then look to my fellow commissioners for most of the rest of the agenda.
Madam Chair, I move to approve items 4, 5, and 6, including all sub-items on today's consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for items 4, 5, and 6 and all sub-items on today's agenda. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. That will then take us to our public hearings. The first one is 7A in the matter of a road name change, Old PSH-11 Highway to 3rd Street, County Engineers Road File Number 1628 for the Spokane County Public Works Department. And it looks like we have Matt Zarakor here with us.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Commissioner. Not sure, I think we might have a slide for you.
It's
Everybody's
coming.
leaving.
Yeah, no,
I'll try not
it's
to take it
coming. It's
personally.
good.
What did you say, Matt?
I know.
Everybody's
Haven't even
leaving.
gotten started yet. It's incredible. Clear a room. So as mentioned, the item before you today is a rename of a road. This one is not controversial. You should not get phone calls or emails or visitors from this one.
Fool me once.
Yeah, exactly. I just jinxed it right there. So we're changing, this is out at, I believe, the Tyler exit. It's almost out of Spokane County. You can see by the red dot on the map, southwest corner of the county. And you can see the township there in the plat work. The red line is the road we're talking about. It fronts on the railroad there. It's originally was called Old PSH 11, Primary State Highway 11. And all of the businesses and the housing along there has been named on 3rd Avenue, the old name for the township. And we're just proposing to keep it that way. One person wants to, at the very end, needs an address, and we just want to keep it consistent, make it 3rd Avenue. Nobody will have to change their address, so that's a good thing in our world, and have not heard anything against it. That also allows the state highway and the intersection there at the very east end to be signed appropriately. WashDOT said they can't put the sign out until we change the road name. So dotting all of our I's and crossing all of our T's, and that's it. Happy to answer any questions.
Not seeing any questions. So with that, then, this is a public hearing item, so I'll open up for public testimony. Anyone wishing to testify on item number 7A? Second call for anyone wishing to testify on item number 7A. Anyone online? Nope. Okay, no one in the audience. Third and final call for anyone wishing to testify on item number 7A. Seeing no one, I will close the public testimony and look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, I move to approve public hearing item number 7A in the matter of a road change, Old PSH 11 Highway to 3rd Street, County Engineer Road File number 1628 for the Spokane County Public Works Department as presented by staff.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second with an echo. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. That will then take us to item number 7B, which is a public hearing in the matter of disposing certain county property owned personal property by public auction, project number 25-15, and we have Carrie Mazzano.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Carrie Bassano, buyer in the purchasing department. Project 25-15 is a request for the board to declare as surplus those items listed in the attached spreadsheet and authorize their disposition by auction, recycling, or destruction as specified by the various department heads. All IT items have been approved by the Information Technology Director, and after salvaging, any usable parts are being recycled. I'm respectfully requesting that you approve these items and their disposition. Any questions?
Any questions for Carrie? Not seeing any. Thank you. So this is a public hearing item, so I will open up testimony for public hearing item number 7B as just presented by staff. Seeing no one. Second call for anyone wishing to testify on 7B. Seeing no one online, no one in the audience. Third and final call. I will close the public hearing. I will look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, I move to approve public hearing item number 7B in the matter of disposing certain county-owned personal property by public auction, project number 25-15.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. That takes us to the end of our agenda, but I will look to Mr. Simmons and Mr. Folsom to see if we have any other items to come before us.
Yes, Board, we have one closed session with the board for labor negotiations.
No executive session items today.
Okay, so since that is a closed session, we will go ahead and conclude this portion of our meeting and go into the closed session. We don't have to state how long, right? Okay. So we'll do that. Thank you all very much for being here. And we are off next week as the commissioners, as we are back in DC to advocate on behalf of the Spokane County with our Greater Spokane Incorporated families. So thank you all, and we'll see you in a couple